Can you hear me? Okay, great. Thank you, Brian, and thank you to the IWG just to give me a few moments to chat about the work the Department of Interior and the Office of Surface Mining Enforcement, Reclamation and Enforcement is doing. We're really, really excited to be a part of this initiative and look forward to continuing to move forward with it and hopefully have some great results come out for folks that are in communities that are really in need. So I won't reintroduce myself, but I serve as the Senior Advisor for Infrastructure Strategy. So I have the privilege of working across the Department of the Interior, working with folks in every facet. So if you're looking for someone that's a POC, please reach out to me. I've had the privilege as well of working with the Pennsylvania Rapid Response Team. So shout out to folks that are leading that initiative. And it's been really great to just offer insight, perspective, and connectivity to the department. So please do not hesitate to reach out if you'd like. So I want to first start off with saying Principal Deputy Director Bashino from OSMRE sends her regards. She was supposed to be the speaker giving remarks today, but she came down with COVID. So folks, take care of yourselves. But she sends her regards and has given me a few things to say about this new initiative. So just for background, if you're not familiar with allocations to the department, Bill gave DOI $16 billion to address legacy pollution through programs at the department, including $4.7 billion for orphan well site plugging, remediation, and restoration activities, and $11.3 billion over 15 years overseen and distributed by OSMRE to clean up abandoned coal mine lands, which we also call AML. So if you know the feds, we love a good acronym. So just keep those in the back of your mind. And through these two key programs, which are integral to the Biden-Harris administration's agenda, they're really going to deliver for rural America and build the foundation for a clean energy economy. And OSMRE has awarded more than $1 billion, that's billion with a B, from the bill to states and tribes to remediate these abandoned mine lands, and in doing so, address long-standing environmental injustices, clean up toxic and hazardous sites, and create jobs while revitalizing former coal communities. So just think about that, let that resonate, and the importance and all the conversations we've had today and how this investment and funding is critical to helping our communities move forward. And so today, drum roll, OSMRE and the department are thrilled to join others to highlight the new initiative that will continue building upon this important work. OSMRE is providing $3.75 million with an M in funding under the bill to support the new partnership called Energy Communities AmeriCorps in collaboration with AmeriCorps. This new Energy Communities AmeriCorps will initiative will support 72 American youth serving in rural communities that have fueled America's economy in the past and are critical to doing so in the future. And with OSMRE support, over the next 3 years, these AmeriCorps members will help develop and implement locally designed economic development, environmental remediation, and energy transition plans. And you know, this partnership is part of the President's American Climate Corps, which we're familiar with, around workforce training and service initiatives, and will mobilize a new diverse generation of more than 20,000 Americans to tackle the climate crisis while building skills for quality jobs. And we've all had conversations about jobs, especially in these communities that are most in need. And so with that, the Energy Communities AmeriCorps members will help coal communities make a more just and equitable transition to clean energy future. And they will also gain the skills and hands-on experience for clean energy and climate resilience careers. So this is just a snippet of what we're doing here at the department in collaboration with OSMRE to really help create these opportunities for folks in the area. So I'm excited to be able to speak to you all about it. And if you have any further questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. I know the folks at IWG have my contact information, and we look forward to just continuing to collaborate and sharing more about this great initiative as things roll out. Thank you so much, Brian.
Torend, thank you so much. And so I'm going to take a couple minutes and just reflect on the day and preview tomorrow. We've heard a lot today. Tomorrow is going to be even more, so hold on to your hats. But you know, I think that one of the themes we've definitely heard over and over again, we knew it coming in. It never hurts for us to hear it over and over again, but capacity in the communities, and it means a lot more. I think, you know, there was a question to the rapid response teams: what is a good example of capacity building? And I actually think that we saw a good example of this, and so Brandon Dennison and Jacob gave us a picture of what it looks like to start working in coal communities with coal field development, and start the ball rolling, build the capacity, start teamwork, start building the teams and the collaborations, to where then you can take on bigger and better. And so Coalfield Development's been doing their work for this is the 14th year, right? And if you back up 14 years, I think it started, it started small with a small team, and it's taken 14 years to get to the point where last year, so 13 years in, part of the Act Now Coalition gets $63 million of the Build Back Better Regional Challenge, accompanied with 20-some million more of other non-federal dollars through some coalition building. That's an example of capacity building. Also, at the tables when we were talking about where communities are today, you know, when I got back up, I reflected that, you know, it's a long game. That there were power grants that were awarded 8 years ago that are just now starting to see, the fruits. So, one, I urge a little patience, but I also urge tenacity. Urge that what we do, we have to make sure that we have a long game when we're talking about building capacity. And the AmeriCorps announcement goes a long way to putting real resources into communities for the opportunities of today. But we still, and I challenge us all, to think about what it means to then seed even more growth of the capacity of our communities, so that we can take coalfield development and move them, replicate it beyond Appalachia and across the country for communities. And sorry, I'm picking on you guys, but you're a great example of how we can build capacity. So we can do it in the short term, which we're going to do. We're going to make sure that we continue to invest in the great AmeriCorps program, AmeriCorps partnership with the agencies and the work of conservation legacy. But another piece of this, I think, is on the federal side. And AmeriCorps, is federal, and then it moves into non-federal space where you can actually write some grants and things. But I would turn this and talk about competitiveness. And think that there are some really good models that we can create on the federal side, so that community projects, underserved communities, underrepresented and disadvantaged communities have the opportunity within our federal grant program. And so again, there was an example of the Appalachian Regional Commission. I am glad Co-Chair Manchin will be here tomorrow as well, and we have some ARC folks here in the room today. But their model has been to invest in real capacity building so that you can prepare for the grants that are coming in the future and prepare for that. So let's take that model and let's keep building on it. And so another piece of reflection is, when we have these ideas of best practices and examples, let's make sure we capture them and try to replicate. So on competitiveness, how can we on the federal side make sure that, if we have a great big grant opportunity, well, maybe we can, find ways to set aside some capacity building and technical assistance to allow for building, within an annual appropriation cycle, invest this year into next year's applicants. And from the federal side, we get better applications that way. So that's just an idea, and here I am, a Fed, tossing out that idea. We'll see how our general counsels will shoot me down. Sorry, I had to say that. So I think that, some other things we heard today is, from Dr. Brainerd, there is a movement afoot, an economic opportunity that is bigger than the challenge. It really is. The huge investments from the private sector that we need to make sure we're unlocking into our communities is coming. The billions of dollars of investments that are happening today will in the future help recreate our communities. And so let's make sure that they're going into our energy communities. And if there are policy drivers that aren't quite getting it all the way there to where, as Dr. Brainerd, an economist would definitely say, it is the return on investment from the private sector. So let's make sure in these communities that part of our capacity building is understanding what makes the community unique, what the competitive advantage of each and every individual community is, and identify what that opportunity is moving into the future so that we can bring the private sector. Now, to that end, I hope many of you have seen a blog post from the Department of Treasury, and we do have some Department of Treasury folks in office hours tomorrow morning, start at 8 o'clock, and talk to those federal colleagues. But the Rhodium Group identified that before the Inflation Reduction Act, a big policy driver to try to put investments into energy communities, we have shifted the needle on private sector investment and the clean energy investments in the private sector from pre-IRA. It was preferential for the private sector to invest in non-energy communities. Post-IRA, it's preferential to invest in the communities. And I don't mean that from yes, you get the tax credit. I mean, private sector is investing now, today, more per month. We're at $5.5 billion per month in energy communities and private sector investment, which is more than in non-energy communities. So we're getting there. But we still have to make sure it hits the ground. So there's a lot of economic opportunities. But when we do that, we've heard some of the challenges and some of the opportunities in supporting workers, and how, yes, you have, if you're doing job training, you have to have a job to train it for. So let's make sure we're working on those together. And part of that competitive advantage of an individual community, and we've heard this over and over again, the workers that are in the community, they know how to work. The ones that are displaced from a coal mine or a power plant or other workers within the energy sector, they absolutely know how to work and get things done. And let's make sure that that is not lost in the asset mapping that happens within communities is the workforce. And last 2 points I'm going to make today and then kick off tomorrow. One is that partnering is a must. Now, we know that. We know that, but we've seen evidence of the power of partnerships today and how they really happen. What a real partnership looks like. And so I'll say, when the Wyoming Rapid Response Team on a biweekly call is getting together the Rapid Response Team members with the folks in the communities, we're not talking about, hey, they're just checking the box. We can say, and we know, and there will be evidence from the community members in Wyoming, they will say, no, this is making a difference. We built relationships, we built partnerships, and what partnership now is starting to look like, from the federal government to the state government to the county commissions to the economic development agencies, we need to make sure that that is happening over and over again in every community. And certainly our rapid response teams are doing an amazing job at that. But there's still a lot more to come. And with that, the last big point, my takeaway for today, and if you all have takeaways that you want to make sure are heard by us, send them to us. I'm sure we have feedback mechanisms, not exactly sure what they are, but certainly contact at energycommunities.gov, navigator@energycommunities, send it to executive director at energycommunities.gov. And we want to hear what your takeaways are as well. And I think we'll have some formalizing ways. But my last takeaway is, boy, this is a long game. We are in it to win it. We're going to play to win, as Briggs will often say as well. But we're in it for a long game. And in order to see the fruits of the seeds that we're planting today and last year and over the last 3 years, we have to keep pushing on that rock. For the next decade. So tomorrow, 8 a.m., our federal and partner office hours start out in the snack area and drink area. So our federal partner hour started at 8 a.m. At 8:30, we're going to be joined by Ali Zaidi, the Director of the Climate Policy Office, Senior Advisor to the President on Climate Policy, and we're going to talk about how the clean energy transition is inclusive to energy communities, and we'll have an opportunity to talk with Ali about that. We're going to go through attracting private investment. We're going to go through repurposing assets, infrastructure policy, community benefits plans, technical assistance and capacity, and then keep charting our future. Tomorrow's going to be pretty damn exciting, to be honest. I'm looking forward to it. This has been an incredible day today. Thank you for being here. Please come back tomorrow. Share your thoughts and your ideas. I don't want to walk, and the team doesn't want to walk out of here without making sure that we've heard from you what do we have to do next. So thank you all. Have a great evening, and we'll see you bright and early tomorrow.